we're going to focus on the integration part, like how we can integrate it with the S4, S4 or R3 systems like ERP, ACC, and the on-premise system basically. And then we also going to see the integration part for the production connector as well, basically for the shop floor connectivity. And yep, and if anything else, like we want to discuss how other customs I'm sure we can do. I will just give you a brief about it as well. Okay. So first we're gonna see the execution integration part. Okay, we're gonna see the overview integration for the discrete and the process industry. Then we're gonna see the integration, technical integration basically, and for both the system on premise and the cloud. And the last we're gonna see the shop floor integration and what are the other components or configurations we have to do basically for the connectivity of the production connector from the shop floor basically on premise. So this is all topic we have. So let's start without wasting much time. Just 1 second. Architect or this base, you can see how the DM is being connected to different systems like ERP or ERP or S4 on-premise system or HANA Cloud, or you have the SAP AI network or the production connector. So if you see some, or if we're looking at this particular case where we are connected with our own shop floor, okay. So basically, before starting with this, like so there's some minimum requirement which we need to fulfill while connecting to the DMC. So first is like for the on-premise system, the limitation is that we can connect to the, especially ERP side, we can connect to the till EHP, ERP, basically EHP 6.0 and above. It's like easily we can have, but ERP 5 also you can do, but there will be a lot of other nodes implementation you have to do at your ERP side. The EHP 6 and above is easily and supported basically, easily provided all the features for those versions. But below that, you might need to do some more customizations at your ERP side and all. Okay. And for HANA, I think as for HANA is 1709 onward, it is applicable. And below that, I'm not sure about the HANA, but ERP with my experience, yeah, is it possible? But possible to connect below EHP 6, but with lot of implementation, node implementation, and some changes you have to do at your environment. Okay. Some middlewares are there. So you can here also you can see the middlewares. So when you are connecting with your ERP side or S4 HANA side, basically on-premise system to your cloud-based system, which is your DM. So in that case, you need a cloud connector and the CPI cloud integration. Okay. So this is the overall picture you can see. For S4 HANA Cloud, you don't need any kind of middleware. It's because both systems are in a cloud and they already have some setups where the communication can happen. So all the data flow and everything's going through the OData APIs only. But here in the shop floor connect, basically on-premise system, it is through iDocs and then BAPI calls. Okay, for the production connector, and again, since your connector will be installed in your on-premise system or server, in your business or the client or site location in network basically. So in that case, we need a cloud connector as well to connect to our clouds product, which is your DM. Okay. As an internet intelligence network, I'm not sure about this particular module or product, but yeah, this is some things like you can easily connect with it without any middleware, so you don't need it. Okay, next is the overview integration with S/4HANA discrete industry. So this is all the master data and transitional data which is currently being supported. So if you see in the DMC, the inbounds are these all. For the inbounds, you have material with classification of these type only, 001 and 03. Okay, you can have work center with shift. Okay, you can have defect codes and tools, routings and all. Then for the transitional data, you can see you have production order. Okay, you can have planned order as well. That is one thing. And then for the floor stock receipt, you have these. You can have it with the serial number, batch characteristic, or reservations. Okay, inspection lot is also there, but in that case, it will be only for the orders type based. So mostly inspection lot is is supported only for type 03, not for after finished good you're doing production inspection and all. So that is not supported yet, but it is for mostly for the type 03. For the outbound, you can see these are the communication will happen, like you can do the production order, status confirmation, yield scrap, component goods issue, including the serial numbers, activity and the quantity confirmation, plant order confirmation, batch creations and all. You can do inspection lot result recording and all you can do. So these are the your outbound from the DMC. And for this one is for the your extended warehouse management. These are the all transitional and the inbound and outbound transitional data. You can have it with the DMC for your this extended EWM. Okay. And then you can create. So basically, I think what I understand is like this is your business network assist. Collaboration is where you keep your all the equipment and tools information. So you can fetch and have that information in the DMC as well. So you can create as well and you can transport that information as well to DMC. So that is one thing. So this is for the discrete industry. These are the all features available as of now, which you can do. For the process industries, few things are little. I compare to the discrete, I feel a little less, but yeah, essential things are all there. So like for the material also here again, this class type is these two only. Okay. Production process order, you can have these, and the stock you can have the serialized. I think flow stock is not there. Mostly it's batch and reservation, and these are your outbound basically transitions, outbound transitions which are supported. These are for the EWM for the process industry. Okay. This is all about like what are the technically integrations available. Basically, what are the activities we can perform and have it. What are the data that are transferred from DMC and to inside the DMC? These are all the objects you can understand a little bit. Okay, for the post process in the discrete interface, slightly differences are there. Next, we're gonna see the technical integration with S4HANA. This is the major points where people need to understand, like how we can establish the connection between your DMC and the S4HANA or the ERP system. Okay, so this is how the network or system look like in the landscape. So this is your BTP. This side, this is your cloud-based applications. You have BTP inside that your DMC. Okay, and this is your ERPs or S4HANA, ERP or S4HANA. Okay. So first of all, you have to create or build an HTTP connection. So basically, it's allow the S4HANA or ERP to access the data from your cloud integration. So if you see, as I told earlier, so for connecting DMC with your on-premise system, you need two middleware. One is the product CPI, which is the SAP Cloud integration. Another is the Cloud Connector. Okay. So you need to build an HTTP connection which allow you to access your data from the CPI. Okay. And then you have to set up the DRF as well. So basically this you can use to data. So DRF is the data replication framework, which to send the master and transition data from your S4 to the digital manufacturing cloud, this one through the iDocs. So this happens through the iDoc transfer only. Okay. So that's the reason we need in middleware some technology or some platform where we can. So DMC will not directly understand the iDocs format and all. So the CPI is the one where in the CPI will have one package for the DMC will be handling the request and sending it to DMC. Okay. So any correction or any changes in the parameters or the you have to do, or any which cannot be handled from the DMC, then you have to do in the S4 CPI side. Okay. So ideally, people have in the real environment, people have CPI experts, integration experts, basically. For this all setups, you need help from B2B system administrator, basis team, and I think this business integration system person can also handle the CPI basis as well, but not all. So that also you need a CPI person in between. Okay. Second thing is like you have to then connect. So basically, in the CPI side also, you have to do one more thing, which we call as preparing the credentials for the initial deployment of the packages. Okay, which is this point, prepare and then credential for the initial deployment. Okay, so basically, what it does actually for this, you have to do this deployment for the integration flows, the iFlow which are created for the DMC. So basically, for the authentication purpose, we are doing this. So with the use of your P user. So like S user, there is a P user as well, which we are using it for the authentication, and there will be different authentication types available. So it can be a basic authentication, which will be your username and password. Then you can have auth 2.0 with the client and client credential authorization, so that you can create easily. So yeah, this is the two different ways you can do this in the authentication. Okay. After that, we have the connect. Third point, which we do as a part of the setup, is to connect the SAP, connect this cloud connector, cloud integration to DM. Okay. So this communication from the CPI to DMC, okay, this is always based on the iFlows which we defined, which is there in the package for the DMC. It's a predefined integration flow. You will get it actually. Okay, that control the data transfer between your partner system, basically from your ERP to the CPI to DMC. Okay. When you install DMC or you have the CPI in between, so you will get the package as well. You have to just install that package, and you need to do some pre-configurations in the CPI side also. Like you have to do some what you call the initial parameters. You have to define the credentials. You have to do that. So that you have to do inside the DMC, CPI only. Okay. This is how CPI plays a role in the between the ERP or S4 to the DMC. It's basically help to control and transfer your iDocs information to the DMC, because DMC framework does not understand directly the iDoc information which is coming. It is transformed into the language or the format, basically not language, it's the format in which DMC can understand it. Okay, so that transformation or transform of the data will happen inside the CPI only.
From S4 we send that iDoc, right? So in DMC also it received as iDoc or some different format?
So format get changed a little bit. It's an Excel only, XML and Excel only, but the structure got changed. So in the iDocs, if you have the fields names and all, right? Like if I'm giving an example for the, maybe I'm wrong, MNR is for the material and all. Maybe I'm not correct on this field name, but it is different. So that naming or formations like that, what iDoc is coming, it get transformed into the readable format which the DMC framework supports. Okay, mapping got changed a little bit. Okay, I don't have the.
So, is there any monitoring or error handling? How to do that? So, yeah.
Yes. So basically, inside your CPI also, you have the monitoring applications where you can monitor your inbound and outbound flows, which is happening. What are the iFlows has been integrated flow, basically we call it in CPI. In short, we call iFlows. So all the iFlows communication which is happening from and to through the CPI, you can easily monitor and see what fails and the reasons and all you can see. And in DMC also, there's a place called manage integration dashboard. Let me just open it.
And all the integrations through IDOC only, or some are direct using direct call BAPI or RFC, direct RFC?
You can do that, but that needs to be come through the CPI only. You cannot directly call BAPI from the DMC. So direct call, if you say you're talking about like this to this without having in between any of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, that is not possible. See, your DMC is in a cloud based, and this is your in a network. Okay, you need to have something which help you to connect your on-premise system to your cloud system, and for that you need to have cloud connector, okay, which will help you to establish the communication between an on-premise to cloud. Okay, then again you need your CPI to make the things understable, the format which the CPI is looking for, or the way this DMC is looking for. So for that reason, you need a CPI. Okay.
So and all the integration through using IDOC only, right? There is no any other like FTP or any other. In general, we use IDOC only for integrated with S/4HANA and DMC.
Yeah. Or the inbound IDOC. For outbound, basically it's a BAPI call.
Outbound from DMC.
Yeah, outbound from the DMC, like I'm doing the yield confirmation or activity confirmations or on all like result recording I'm doing, which is going from DMC to the S4. That time we are using the BAPI. And but the data coming from the S4 to the DMC, that time it is a IDOC communication.
Okay, so outgoing how in S4 it will create IDOC or inbound IDOC or how in S4?
See. If let's take a system as with respect to it. Okay, if I'm talking about with respect to DMC as an outbound, I mean the data is flowing from DM to S4. Okay, or ERP. Okay, so when data is flowing from DM to S4, it is BAPI call. Okay, but if any data is coming to DMC, that means it's coming from S4 to DMC, then it is IDOC.
Yeah, that I understood. But what I mean is a BAPI call. So in S4, is there any way we can monitor whether it's posted or like IDOC we can monitor, right? But if it is a direct BAPI call, is there any way to monitor in S4 for incoming?
That I don't know. That I don't know. Whether BAPI monitoring, I don't know whether that is possible or not. I'm not sure about that. I don't have that expertise. But at the CPI end, you can monitor. So whatever they are calling, right? Every call is all having one. You can understand as a place. So I'm doing a yield confirmation. Okay. SAP is triggering that information to the CPI, and internally CPI is calling that BAPI. So when I'm saying, okay, hey, CPI, just execute the yield confirmation, that information I send to CPI, so that at that level you can monitor. Or if happens successfully, that also, I think in the CPI, and you can monitor whether it happens successfully or not, any issue if you got. But inside the S4 side, that I'm not sure whether you have any capability in the S4 side or DPS side to monitor your BAPI calls.
Or in DM side?
Yeah, you can do. So whatever, so that's what I want to show you. So we have this one, integration. So integration, I will show you how you monitor your flows. Okay. So we have integration message dashboard. This one. So this is the application where you can see the data basically all. So which plant is happened? 690. So here, see, someone's tried to do material classification download, okay, for the material 1 and 2. So here, if you see, status is showing as failed. Here you can see, understand the reason as failed. Okay. So this is having a lot of other messages. So you can monitor your activity confirmation, cancellation, or if equipment creation happens, batch update has. These are all the messages which you can easily monitor through this application. Suppose I did downloading some order, okay, material basically. So I just want to look at the material. I select this message type, material download. Okay, if I click on go, so here you will get the list of all the materials which is being downloaded. Okay, so there's one thing you have to understand, like some retention period is there for these logs to be visible to you. So ideally, the retention period is of 2 weeks. Okay, default this is one, and but you can changes to up to the 90 days, or you can reduce to the 1 day. So, but after the 90 days, it will automatically get deleted. So whatever there are messages which are in inactive or which are deleted state, okay, any messages, those messages after 90 days will be getting deleted automatically, or it will be permanent deletion. You cannot see those. So these are the basic retention period you can see in this particular application. So log is not like all the logs are available for all the time, but few have some limitations. Okay. Here, like suppose if you look at this application, so these are the options by which you can search your messages which are flowing and coming to DMC. Okay, this is for your integration, whatever you have did for you inbound and outbound. Okay, so whatever the messages are coming to your system and going from the system, all those you can monitor from this application. Okay, these are the all what do you call your source system. You can select target, overall status. You can see. Okay, if you know who's created want to filter any last update you want to do, you can do. Okay, there's one few features are there. Refresh is for the refreshing the table. Then you have a retry also. Suppose like this particular message was failed, but you want to try it again. So you can use a retry. Okay, so there's an option also, like if you have multiple messages which you're trying. Okay, so you can select I want to do sequentially, like first then this, or parallelly you want to execute that. All options you can try. Okay, and then you have auto try setting as well. So basically here you have to just define like this one is there. So whenever the plant order configuration was failed, you're saying every 1 minute you retry it, okay, for the next 3 times. So system will automatically every 1 minute it will look into any failed messages for these planned order scrap confirmations. If any scrap confirmations are failed, so system what will do, it will automatically keep on checking the message, and it will try to execute or that particular message again for the next 3 times. And once that is done, it will not take considered. So that will be in the fail status only. Okay. You can just like click on add button here. Okay. Select anything which you like I want to see order complete. I'm doing it was fail. I want to say every 10 minutes it check and let's retry for the next 3 days, 4 times. Okay. And save it. Oh, I made a wrong place. So let it be. So here you can make any times. I think max I can do is, I'm not sure, but doesn't make sense to retry something which is failed for next 25. So ideally take it for 3 times or 4, 5 times max. Okay. And just can save it. The system will automatically, whenever the order is complete is failed, it will look into and it will try for the next 5 times to execute it again until it gets success. But after 5 try, if it is fail again, the system will not touch it. So here you can see the auto try count. So if it is try 1, 2, or that count you can see here easily. Okay. This is your request payload we call, whatever going from the DMC. This is a response payload, which is on the execution of a particular flow. What happens, will it successfully or failed? So we'll get the messages like this way. Okay.
So while reprocessing, is there any way we can, if there is some issue with it, some fields or mapping, so is there any way we can update or modify those data and reprocess directly in DMC?
No, you cannot update the payloads. You cannot update the payloads. There's no options.
Like in S4 in IDO, we can reprocess with the, we can change the data and reprocess it. Is some some mapping issues or some
Yeah,
format
understand that
issues.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But in here in GM, no, that is not you just have option to try, but payload information change is not there. In that scenario, what you can do is you can manually execute this same process. Like suppose you're doing, but again, it's depend how much it can be supported for the system. Like if activity confirmations is there, right? So you can do one thing. You can manually trigger it once more with the correct payloads. Not going to the pod, and because in the pod you already have that, so it will not allow you to do again. Okay, so you can use a production plan PPDs basically. So in the PPD, write a logic for the activity confirmation, and you pass all the parameters which is the correct ones, and then run the PPD. So it will execute the flow in the bucket, and you will have the correct data. Okay, but
Okay. So here there is no way we can copy this and create a new message. Sorry.
You can copy, but yeah, correction is not there. You cannot do correction in this application.
Not this one. Like as you said, right? We create a new message, copying with this, and create a new message and correct that message and send it back like that.
You can copy, and you can copy, and so I can copy any types in this application. Just control.
Not copy field means this specific number, right? That's the entire message. While reprocessing, we can create a new message, copying this particular all this data and modify and send it back.
No.
Hey, you know, ZaranTech now offers SAP corporate training. That's right. Train your workforce in SAP with our comprehensive program. We offer customized courses, certified trainers, and hands-on labs for both individuals and businesses. Our standout features: bespoke training, fully configured servers for practice, in-house materials, and a dedicated LMS. Plus, get session recordings and 24/7 support. From functional to technical modules, we have got it all. Choose ZaranTech for SAP training and watch your team excel. Learn, upskill, succeed with ZaranTech.
I understand what you mean. In the S4 we can modify the IDOC if it is failed, but this is not. At CPS side might be possible, but I'm not sure about that. I never tested that way. CPI, because CPI, so basically here we are sending data only to CPI. CPI is a responsible person, okay, a guy who will trigger the BAPI call, okay, to the S4. So I'm not sure about whether you can modify the fail things in the CPI, but that is the one place where you can look into. But in the DMC side, no.
Yeah, okay, because the failure is normally, it happen and then re-triggering it again if we go to the PPD logic. Then for all the messages.
If you see, most of data either is coming from it's your master data. Okay. So if master data is coming wrong, you have to update from your S4 or ERP side.
Yes, that understood. Okay.
Yeah. Anything which is from the DMC side, right? Let me just see. So if I'm taking the example of discrete only, so you have the confirmations. Or if you're taking the discrete, you can just enter the quantities. So you're saying if quantity is wrong, how I can do the correction, right? So if in that case, you can use a cancellation application. So you can correct the quantity from there or cancel that quantity and then do the new confirmation. But I think as of now, whatever I'm canceling is not reflecting back to the main, like available quantity is not reducing. Okay. Corrections, recordings there. So this data, what if you have any change, want to change, you have to trigger it again. This data, if you make any mistake and want to correct, that is and you want to do it from here, not possible. Yeah, so mostly not possible to correct whatever you have sent. You can just do it, retry or send it again. But whatever messages has been gone, the same message you want to just make a modification and send it again. So that is not possible. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's move forward to. So yeah, the CPI side, I don't have much expertise here also because mostly people have their own CPI experts and all. They work on this part. Next one we have our the next step, which is to connect SAP Digital Manufacturing to CPI Cloud. Here you have to create the destination. Okay, so in your BTP, that I can show you on how the BTP exists. So basically right now what happened, you have established the communication from CPI to DMC. Now you have to do the reverse from the DMC to the CPI. Okay. So for that, you will create a destination and your tenant, okay, and put all the credentials and the URLs in one. So that's where you will able to establish the two-way communication, okay. And then after that, from the CPI, you have to establish a connection to your this one. So whenever going back from this one CPI to S4, you have to have a cloud connector, basically, which will work as your middleware from CPI to S4. Okay. Then install the cloud connector, then set up the connection between cloud integration, cloud connectors for HANA. So this is the next step. Here again, in the cloud connector, you have to create some proxy URLs and all that you need to do. Okay. That is all you have to do here as well. Destination you will create here basically. So this is a destination which we have created now for the system. Okay. So this is the basic authentication we are doing with the name based on name and the password. If I check the connection, I think it's connected, but a lot of other things are not done. So this is your connection. Okay. This is the way you have. Oh, but this is not for this. Sorry. This is for your S4 side, okay, but not for the CPI. For CPI, we create a different destination. There we mentioned that this URL for the CPI, okay, not for the S4 side.
S4 side means you mean DMC directly connected with S4?
This setup is not correct. Setup is not correct. So basically, what I'm telling you is where you create your destination. Okay, now you have to create a destination for the CPI. So you come to here and you create a destination. Okay, here you have to pass your URLs, proxy types, and the authentication. Basically, we're going to SAP suggests not to go with basic authentication, go with the auth 2.0, which is your client credentials basically. So you have to pass your secret and key. This setup is wrong. This is not correct. I'm just telling you where you can do the destination creation. You have to go to your B2B under your DMC tenant. Okay.
So from S4 to DM, there is no cloud connectivity is not required, is it?
No.
Is it required only for the DM to S4?
Yes, because that time we are calling some BAPI and all, and also for that we need a reverse proxy and all. So for that reason we have this, and also in the CPI side, you create a RFC destination basically, which is pointing to your S4 HANA. So all the little details, what, where, and what setup, you can get it from the integration document. but this is overall steps you need to perform to connect your DMC to your S4 or ERP side. These are the two middleware you needed. Okay. So last and the most final step which you do in the DMC is like you have to create your plant. Okay. And then you have to enable your directives and links basically, which is indicating your iflows or like messages. Like if I go to this one in directives, okay, just let me open it. So these are all the directives we have, okay, which is kind of your configuration basically. So whenever the messages are flowing from DMC to the other or coming to DMC, okay. So these are like, yeah, this is for when we going from DMC to the S4 side to make sure like what all the integration messages that we are seeing from here from DMC to our S4 side, okay, are happening successfully. For that, we need to enable this. This is a kind of a library. If you understand, these are the all predefined libraries. Okay, kind of understanding here. Then we in the link we have to make sure these are mapped properly. Okay, so then only the communication will be happening. Otherwise, it won't. So if you're saying this one, like if I do batch creation thing, I didn't do the mapping. Okay, so it will not trigger that map in directive or message flow, basically integration flow. It will not go. It will not go to the DMC CPI. To make sure that integration messages are transferring and flowing, okay, or sent to the CPI from the DMC, we have to make sure these collaborations basically are mapped properly, and that mapping we will do inside the collaboration link. Okay, so you have to map it. So to understand this, how you will be mapping, if I go and open another tab for this one. So you will have in the if I click here, so I will have also batch creation. This link should be triggering this directory, basically integration. So I will create on this, I will save it. So whenever I'm creating batch, it will internally trigger that message and the integration will happen to your CPI and then CPI to your S4 or ERP. So this is one prerequisite. Once you create the plant, first you have to create the plant. And so basically the plant which you're creating will be the representation of your existing plant in your S4 and ERP. So if you're using, you are targeting to, you have 5 plants and you're going to target to use 5 plants inside the DMC, you have to create in 5 plants in the DMC. But you're using only first 2 or 1 plant only. So that plant which you're using or planning to use, that plant you have to create in DMC. If suppose what happened, I have a plant 10 and that map representation I have not created in the DMC and I'm sending the data for the 10. In DMC, since there's no plant for the 10, it will throw an error, the plant not found, something like that. Okay, so like first and foremost is like you have to create your plants for your in DMC and then you have to enable these links as per the need. Like if you're not doing EWM, you don't need to enable these integration flows. Just leave it. As per the requirement, you can enable this. So here, I think, yeah. So this is how where you do. Apart from that, we have some called as enable direct communication to S4 HANA. So this is just for the S4 HANA, not for the ERP. Okay. So one thing, there's a few messages and things which we can enable basically through OData connection from DMC to S4 HANA, not to ERP. Okay. It's just for the S4 system. Okay, just remember. So, which is like what we are doing is like we are enabling the direct outbound communication, and we are using the here OData, okay, from DMC to the your S4 HANA. Okay. Basically, it will happen through, sorry, not direct, it will happen. It will be through the cloud connected to, because this is, direct will not be possible because this is your premise system. So we need cloud connected. So here what we are doing from DMC to cloud connected to, to the S4. So we are bypassing the CPI. Okay, so this is happening only for the few scenarios, not for all the cases. And that is, this scenario is only for the S4 HANA, not for the ERP R3. It's just for S4. Okay. So in this, like if you're releasing order from the EDMC, if that message you want to pass, in that case, you can, that happens through the OData call. And okay, in that case, it just set the status from in the S4 site released by MES. For that, I think our MES status will be changed in the ERP site, so the S4 site that you can see. There's one more message is like order discard. So whenever you are discarding any order from the DMC, it will go through the DMC to cloud connected to the S4. Okay. There's a few more as well, like when we are doing the this one, what it called QM sync with, I showed you, right? So that is also happening from DM cloud connector to S4. Okay. There's one more scenario, but this is for S4 only. I think this is what you asked some time back. Sorry, like whenever I'm doing logging any non-conformance, okay. So in that case, what happened? That also that data can transfer from DMC to S4, but that is for S4 only, not for the ERP or anything. Okay. So when you log in non-conformance, okay, for the defect recordings, whatever it is there, then I think you have a directive called ERP defect. ERP defect, let me check defect. Yeah. So this is collaboration defect record. Okay. So this one, for this you have to enable. Okay. So this, with the help of this collaboration, you will be sending your defect recording directly to the S4 without CPI in between. Okay.
Okay. And in S4, it will create a quality notification.
That I'm not sure about it. I think
because
this is
there is no any other place to record the defect in S4 other than quality notification.
Then I think it will be. But there's one more setting you have to do, that is, you did this mapping, okay? And before the mapping, you have to make sure, like, spell it out. You have to enable this one, direct access to S4 HANA. This one, once you did this, then only it will go to the S4 side. Otherwise, it will not. That I never tested actually, whether when we are doing the defect recording, it will be creating a queue or not. So I won't comment on that, but ideally should, because that is the only place we are seeing, right? It will be getting created usually when we are logging a defect. But I never tested and I didn't have that.
Okay.
Anywhere.
So under that particular directory, can we see what are the fields or that are going to send to S4 or any data?
So here is a batch creation. This is a data acquisition. These are the formatting. So these are some internal they have batches. So here you can see they have created some files mapping they having. This is some logic they have in the backend. Okay. So don't modify anything here until unless it is suggested or by the SAP to do that. This is calling the backend logic. Okay. So
But can we not see what are the fields or data that is sent along with this?
Whatever is there
messages?
in the backend logic for these things, we don't know. But whatever going from DMC to any other CPI or anything that you can see here, integration message dashboard. Here you can see the message, like what information is going to
Yeah,
here.
that is where, when you after send, right? But before, like, you just want to know whether we have the enough data or not, kind of thing. This is when you trigger, right? Before triggering, if you want like to know what are the
So
data
if you're
going to
doing
say.
activity confirmation, right? You go API and check what are the information you need to pass. You can create a PPD. You go in the inside the PPD, you will get the list of all the inputs you needed or mandatory inputs you need to pass to get this thing done. So apart from that, any like these are all places you can look out what information you have to pass to the APIs or to trigger that information.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Have you experienced to create any new message, new directory, or new message type, Z message type,
No,
kind of thing?
no. These are like apart from this, I don't think so. You need to do anything. You are the activity batch. You are doing ERP components consumption. You are doing. These are the SAP provided standard libraries. If you want to use your own, you create your own custom flows and use it. Why you need this? You can do everything in your CPI and the way you want to modify your logic or the things you can do in CPI and use that flow into your DMC.
So generally, if you implement any logic, that standard guideline where you generally do in DM, in S4, or in CPI, like any conversion logic or any other extra logics or send to extra fields. So where exactly you will do?
See, given simple example, I want to fetch a sales order number from whenever the order is getting downloaded or anything. Or I want to just fetch the sales order for the sales order number for any particular order. This is my requirement. So I'm taking a request from DMC. I will enter an order and it should show me the sales order number. This is my requirement. Okay. Since the data sales order number is in my S4 side here, I need to have it in the DMC. What I can do is in CPI, I can do a BAPI call or any function module call, anything. Okay, that's BAPI only. Okay, I will create a flow here. Okay, I will register that flow in the DMC as a service or API, and I will use that service or API in our PPD. Whenever I enter order, if I click OK or run, it will fetch the information from the S4 side and give it to me. So here you have to do a BAPI development. Here you have to do a custom iFlow development. Here you have to create your own PPD. Okay. So it's a 3 levels you have to do the changes. It's not a straightforward like made a change, use here. No. You have to do in CPI also you have to configuration because there's no direct communication from here to here. Or whatever the direct communication which I told you, these are the predefined standard communication which is allowed by the system. No other from that. Okay.
So we'll go to the registry again.
Sorry, which one? Directive?
Yeah, directive.
Yeah.
Okay, so for all these messages, right? Plan underscore confirmations, right? So this is the for which function module or BAPI to be called. All this information is maintained in CPI, is it? You don't
Yeah.
have any BAPI or
No.
so in
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think this is directive is basically for the formulation of your request payload. Okay, how it's going to look like. Or for that, it is this. What BAPI and inside is getting called, that information you can see in your CPI. So for each call, you have one dedicated iFlow for it. Okay. So you have to go into it and check what exact BAPI it is calling. For most of cases, like if I give an example, anyone from the ME background, they know for the activity or yield confirmations and all, we are using this CO underscore ME prod TT create, basically that is time ticket BAPI is there, right? Which we mostly in the S4 side also we are using for doing the confirmations on yield or scrap confirmations and all, right? So the same, I think it is used here as well in the CPI. And for most of the cases, like for yield, scrap, time confirmations and all. Rest is again their standard BAPIs only. It's not any custom, or maybe, but I think if it is custom, then you have to change some changes in your S4 site. So I think it's mostly the custom BAPIs, sorry, standard BAPIs are only. Okay. Any changes are there, the SAP always provide notes for the change implementation, what you have to do at your S4 site. Okay.
Okay, and if we have created any custom BAPI, okay, suppose for confirmations, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some additional things we need to do in SAP when we post that confirmations, and for that we have created additional BAPI. Correct?
So basically you're saying, I understand your question. So if you want to change your BAPI, you're saying, no, I don't want to go with your standard approach. I don't want to use it. So in the link, don't enable this confirmation link. Keep it blank. The system will not trigger this confirmation to S4. Instead of that, create your own logic, which I described for the sales order. Same. So you create a PPD, execute on a button. So whenever I click on that button, it should do the activity confirmation using the custom iFlow which you have created. So if you don't want to use the standard things, don't enable it at all.
No. My question is like if the functionality is not there, I will create from the scratch. Okay, but functionality is there. I just need to make the change in the BAPI or function module in CPI. Okay, in that case, for the standard directives, I can update that BAPI or FM in the CPI, or I have to create a new one. What is the best practice?
You cannot change anything in DMC in respect to the directive. CPI, it's up to you. It's not recommended to make any changes in the standard iFlow. It's never recommended. No, even no anywhere it's recommended. Whatever the standard is there. If you want to make any changes, make it custom. Don't make any changes in the standard. Otherwise, what happen actually, whenever new updates are coming, right? It might be possible without looking you made an update. Okay, your new patch might be possible. It override your current custom development, but the update might fail. Okay, so it's never recommended to make changes in the standard iFlows. Okay, basically logic, whole logic change. It's not recommended. Create your own best options.
What is this asynchronized mode, CPI asynchronized mode?
Okay, so how you want to execute trigger this one? You want to do it in sync way, or we want to wait for the system to get the response from it? How you want to execute this flow?
So what is it recommended? Is there any performance issue if it is a sync mode or?
Not sure about this. Is a very new feature as of now they have added, but it's you need to test it how the system is behaving with this load into your system. I can't comment on this part. Sorry. So see, in every quarter, every 3 months, you're gonna see at least 2 to 3 new features in the DMC. Okay, so every time you have to make your system when you're going to production, or you are doing is make sure like after every release, your current solution will not break. Okay. So every time you will going and see a new things coming up, and these are some part of it. Okay. Some minor changes are there, maybe some major new features or major changes. Okay. Coming to any doubt as of now on the integration part. The technical, I have explained all the steps you have to do basically, but in detail you can go it and see it. Because I don't have any access to the system, so I cannot show you. And moreover, I don't have the expertise because these are the part of your basis team and the security administrator things. Okay, and I don't have any experience in doing the integration as well. Okay.
What about this plant connectivity, plant connector? It is the same way or different approach?
Plant connector, I will let you know when we are on that part. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I understand we cannot go through it, but what the setups or things required in DMC to enable all these things? So can we go through that in DMC? Like, what is the prerequisites or what setup is required to enable this connection with SAP?
Yeah, I told you. Just 2 things you have to do. You have to create the plant name, which represent your existing plant in S4 or ERP, and do this. Map your directive to your links. That's it. And then do your testing for send some master data. Okay, first to 2 master data, one, send your order, send your material, BOM, routing, all. Do a first SID testing basically. Whether you are getting the data properly or not, any issue you are facing, and then you, based on the issues, you can just rectify it. But in DMC side, just you have to create plant and you have to map the directive. That's it.
Yeah, go to that map directive. Exactly what exactly to be. I missed that. Yeah, so what exactly to be done here? Like activity confirmations, I want to map this.
1 second, I showed you. This is, you have to go in your links.
Manage collaboration.
Click your this. Let me do it some other. This is your one. Map it to yours. This one. You basically want to sync your result record inspection results. So just go and check for that directive with the inspection. Activity. This is your defects, fetch, object, ERP. I'm saying it. That's it.
Okay. So this inspection, when we do the result recording in DMC, it will immediately send to the S4. Is it?
Yes. When I mean through the flow.
Okay. So where in DMC where you maintain all these things like connect to with CPI things and all these things, you have to enter somewhere in DMC also, right? To connect with CPI or directly with S4.
That's all happen at the BTP level. That's what I'm saying. It is a part of your system BTP person to make a connection. Nothing inside DMC application. You do that for the connectivity for the S4 and ERP side I'm talking about, or for the EWM also.
So this is there any like a setup to send in the batches, send the message in batches rather than real time? These are the real time, right? So is there any way you can set up in?
No. It's as the events trigger. It will not store anywhere and do in batches confirmations or no.
Okay. So master data can be pushed from S4. From DMC also we can load those data like sometimes if required to get that current data or latest data. So can we read from DMC also or no?
There's no straightforward solution. There's no standard solution for it actually. That master data needs to be pushed from your source system. Whatever changes you are having, you can create a variance in your S4 side, trigger it at some intervals, system will less. Like basically, you're doing a schedule job at your S4 side.
Mhm. So collaborations, link and the directive both are. So these collaboration links and the directive both are the different thing. Little bit wrong. So collaboration syncs inspection result. Okay. Kajal, what is the difference in between collaboration links and directive?
Links, you just establishing you're just mapping your directive basically. You're saying, okay, I'm saying whenever you're triggering this event, you just call this directive. Okay, and the directive you have all the information of function logic, whatever it is there. I'm not sure about what they have, but it's mostly like creating your request payload for that particular request. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm calling this one. So whenever this happens, call this, which will have all the things. Okay.
Mhm. So this collaboration link is basically event, right? When the batches get created, when inspection result get recorded, something like that.
Yes.
Is it event?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a download functionality also, batch characteristics value download. Okay.
So when you are sending any data, batch numbers or anything, so their associated characters are also getting downloaded to system. And this is for the good issues, for the production order based.
So this is all to send the data from DM to S4, right? This all the collaboration link and directive
Yeah.
is to send the data from DM to S4.
Right. This is for the S400 cloud. Similar like what we have for the on-premise system. Okay. This is for the process industry for the cloud, and this is the technical integration in the S4 side. On cloud S4 HANA. So cloud, it's very straightforward. You have to create destination on your BTP. You have to create a communication user in your S4 HANA cloud. Okay, then you have to create a communication system. Then you have to create a communication arrangements. Basically, these are the flows or logics, whatever you want. Just like for the product integration, which are for master data. These all are different objects or business communications objects, basically, which you have to enable. And then at the end, you just do some confirmation and testing by using these two applications, replicate by object selection or replicate by the model selection. With the help of these two, you can easily test your communication or connection, basically, integration with your DM and S4 HANA Cloud. So S4 HANA Cloud is pretty simple. We are not using any middleware because both the systems are on cloud and the provision is there. We can directly connect with DMC to S4 HANA Cloud. But in between, if you want to use CPI, then you can do, but some configuration changes will be there. So I'm not sure about that one as of now. But yeah, it's possible because what happened? CPI used for your making a changes in the request and some changes are they want to modify. So DMC you cannot do, but at the CPI you can do. So for such scenario, you need to have a CPI. So next topic we're going to see is the shop floor integration. So basically like how you can connect your machines or any service provider which you have at your machine level, how you can have those connected to your DMC. Okay. So this is the typical architect look like for the shop floor connection. So for shop floor, you need one middleware, and so basically two middleware. One is the production connector and the cloud connector. So production connector and the cloud connector will be installed on your Windows servers. Okay. And so here we can see this is your DMC. Inside DMC, you will have your connectivities features will be available. So a cloud connector, one cloud connector you can use to connect multiple production connector. It's not necessary like one-to-one mapping needs to be done for the cloud connector. That is totally fine. You can have it. Inside the cloud connector, you will able to connect to different like you can connect to the OPC, UADA, all type or IP21, and there's some list is there. So you can check the exact list which is there, which can connect. But mostly we can connect with OPC, UADA, IP21, all those systems you can connect. So directly, so see, directly you cannot connect production connector to this. You need in middleware something like data which understand the machine language and change it to the some system readable format, and this like so. In our case, we have some OPC layers like some software like Capware, Metricon, um, Aspen, and all those things are there, which are the OPC act as a these are the OPC layer, software basically, which help you to connect with your machine data and transfer into some readable format. Okay, so yeah, so this is understanding. Also, you can connect with the MQTT basically. So it's slightly different from how the production connector work. This is based on the your publish and subscribe based message method actually. It is more faster as compared to the production connector, and this new feature is introduced in this year only in the first quarter of this year. This is another way you can have shop floor connectivity, and yeah, this is also again going to be through the cloud connector only, because these all system you're going to have inside your network. It's not on the cloud. So to connect anything to the cloud system, you need to have a cloud connector in between. Okay.
What sets ZaranTech apart in SAP corporate training? It's our unique blend of expertise and innovation. We offer customized courses tailored to each client's needs, ensuring relevant, targeted learning. Our vast trainer database brings you wisdom from the best in the field. Need resources? Access our extensive training material repository anytime. We are all about measurable results, providing detailed student metrics to track progress. And we don't just teach, we build community. Join our thriving social media network, connecting learners beyond boundaries. With ZaranTech, you are not just training, you are transforming your SAP expertise.
So where this connector get downloaded or stored in?
It will be in the Windows server in your environment. I didn't get your question. What do you mean by like where it will be stored?
Yeah, means you have to download this cloud connector, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that will be on DM side or some SAP, like some third-party application server side, or on that.
This cloud connector is a SAP cloud connector. This is a SAP product. So you have to install your cloud connector and the production connector on the same server in which you have. So basically, cloud connector will be installed in the same server where you have the production connector. And then you have to establish the communication between the cloud connector and the DM and then production connectors. With the help of cloud connector, you're going to do that. Okay. So cloud connector is a kind of a middleware for your DM and the production connector. Okay.
Ajal, do you have any example on your system where you can see the cloud connector or production connector?
No, I don't have it as of now. These are the software I cannot install inside DMC or anywhere. These needs to be a Windows server actually. Currently, I don't have access to any kind of server as of now, and I don't know whether team has also, but yeah, these are the two different software you need to make a connection. Okay.
So here you mentioned tooling, production connector on Windows, production connector. What is the difference on those two?
No, it just saying that you can have multiple production connector. It's not like you have one production connector and connector DMC. You can connect multiple. That's all it's want to display or
But
say.
in which case you need multiple production connector?
If you have too many data or too many machines data you have, and your server is not capable of handling that much of load, then you may distribute the load to different servers. Configure half part here, configure half data there.
And this edge Kubernetes clusters, right?
This one is so machine to machine connectivity. There's two options you can do. It's whether using the production connector or by using the MQTT broker. Okay, so MQTT broker is more faster as it is based on the subscribe and publish and subscribe methodology. So it's like one topic or one event will be created for all the kind of like, and other will be subscribing to those events. So it is much faster as compared to the production connector. So in that scenario, you can use this particular software as well instead of going with the production connector. It has their own implementation, like how to. So that's we need to go. Like you guys have to.
So that since MTKQ will also work with the production connector, there's a link in between, like so you can use both the things.
Yeah,
you can use both the things.
Yes, you can use both of it.
But why you need both of that? Like if it is a faster and it's a kind of same functionality.
It's all to business. It's not saying you have to definitely use. It's saying like you have a feed options if you want to use something from the ambiguity data to the production connector. That feasibility is there. You can connect it. You can fetch the data from that broker as well to a production connector and then send to DMC. That the flexibility is there. Okay. But it doesn't say like you always have to do that in that way only. No. It's up to this business requirement. Might be possible, like maybe your MBQ2 server, which you are having, it's in a different network, or where direct access is not given to you by your system administrator or whatever it is, reasons, because of XYZ security reasons and all. There's many reasons because of certain security reasons possible, like maybe you not have direct access. They may give you to the production connector, and then from there you are exposing it to the external or public cloud. Okay. So all you need to understand the how it's going to fit in the environment, and based on that you can choose what best suit to you. Is it MQT broker or the production connector? Next is like different scenarios where we are using the production. We're doing the production shop floor integration basically, and then we will going to see the how we can set up this one connection. Okay, these are the two topics we will cover, and then almost we are done. Yeah. So what are the reasons why we are using the scenarios basically where you can use, like when you have you want to create a digital configuration, twin configurations, like whatever the assets you have, you want to replicate or you want to create a digital picture of it. You can have, in that scenario, you can use the shop floor integration. Okay. If you want to use some services which is provided by the data sources which you have in your shop floor, in that scenario also you can use this shop floor integration. Or you want to execute any services, okay, which is provided by a service provider through DMs. In that case, also you can use. You want to read, write, modify the tag values based on some events. You want to change the your equipment or tags values or data, whatever. In that case, also you can do this integration. So this is all the scenarios where you can have this shop floor integration. Okay. Next, we're gonna see is like how we will going to set up this production connector for the on-premise system. These are the steps we follow basically. These are the two main prerequisite steps, and then what are the configuration we have to do in the DMC that we will see. The prerequisition is first one, you have to configure your production connector and your cloud connector. That you have to do. Okay. Once that is done in DMC, you have to configure those system as well. Okay. So that I can show you. So if I go under manufacturing execution, so these are the two places where you can create assets representing your shop floor. So here you create the assets. Okay, you put the name, general information, what is the attributes and indicator value it has. Those information you create here. Here, using this particular application, you do the connectivity basically. This asset which I created is the representation of or the mirror image of which element or asset from the shop floor. So that you do here. So since I don't have any system configure, shop floor system not configured, so it's not coming. So most first application which we use basically when we are doing the configuration is this one, configure production connectivity. So in that things you have to do the configuration for your cloud connector, you have to do for your production connector, and then for a shop floor system. So here you create a cloud connector, you provide these information, location ID. Okay. Then you create production connector. So here you have different type of, so here you will provide the information basically, the internal host you give, or for which cloud connector you have this, so you can select whatever you have. Then you have to provide the virtual URL which you have, and this will come automatically the company name of this. So this is to make internal and the virtual host URL you have to provide. All this information you can get it from when you're configuring your production connector. You can connect plant connectivity also do, which is a Pico, but it is now not much recommended because whatever the new features or everything are coming, it's more supported for the production connector, not for the plant connectivity, which is Pico. So it is recommended to go with the production connector, not with the Pico. Okay. Then you have to do the shop.
Where to choose whether it's a plant connector or production connector?
It's the configuration which you do.
Yeah, but how to know whether it's a...
You're doing right. You're configuring. You install it, right? You know whether is it the production connector you have installed or the Pico connector you install. System will not differentiate it anything, but internally it will have a different configurations or whatever supporting is there. Yeah. But here at the system, you cannot say, okay, no, this is the Pico or a production connector.
Okay.
Then you have to define your shop floor systems. So here you can create OPC US server. You can select from scratch or directly. You can connect to the IP21 DA server as well. HDA, I'm not sure about it. Then you can connect to any asset framework server. Then proxy historian also you can connect. So these are the different servers which is supported as of now. So when you say OPC US server, these are the all information you have to enter. Like what way you want to authenticate it. Then the endpoint you have to enter. Obviously, your endpoint you have to enter. What policy has the security modes, all those things you have to enter. So this is where you create the system. Once this is done, Okay.
So,
Here,
Kajal, who is responsible to do this? Configure this, configure the.
servers, I think it will handle by the basis team, but inside the DMC, you have to do. So whatever the actions you're performing inside the application, it's a DMC consultant responsibility. But what is happening mostly outside of this, it's mostly like the basis or the person who was handling the server, or they have to do that. Okay.
So, can you go to the configure product production connectivity shop flow systems? Yeah, go to the production connector, plant connectivity. Create. So all this information, like
You will
host
get it.
name, owns.
Yeah. So this all information, once you so name, you can put anything. Okay, it's not production connector. Whatever you define in the previous tab, that you have to select. Okay, or we can define later as well. But whatever you connect, you have to do this virtual and the internal host. You will get as soon as you have installed or the your production connector, or like configure the production connector and add your server. So you will have all this information. So whoever is doing, or you are the one who are doing, so you can have this information from the system.
Okay. And go. Okay. And what is this header connection and the certificate name? Okay. Now go back to that shop floor system. So yeah, create. Yeah, here. How will you know this information again? Like whether what kind of we are, clear for whether it's OPC server or IP21 server or how.
You have to tell the system. Actually, the system will not know. You are
No.
you are understanding what your architecture is, which way you want to go. Are you using IP21 server? So you have to configure IP21 server. If you are using OPC server, you have to configure OPU server. If you are connecting a DS server, you have to create a DS server here. What system you are using actually at the server level?
Okay.
That
So
configuration you have to do.
yeah. So in this server, all the machines related data gets stored, right? It's not one to one, right? Like there are
It's
many
never
machines.
store. It's just a what do you call configuration is there. Basically, data will be storing at the server level only, at the this server only. If you have the metric on server, it will have that data, or the historian will have the data. You are just establishing a connection. The data will not come and sit or reside inside the DMC network. You are doing a configuration only. As you're requesting any data, it will fetch the information from the server system. And these are the servers as of now supported only. GA proxy is also the proxy historian. I think that is not supported as of now. But these are the mostly people use this one for the shop floor connectivity, OPC US server, and there are multiple software available for this OPC UA type supporting servers. Like in Ignite is there, Metricon is there, Capware is there. Okay, so next what I can show you is this is manage your MBQTT server, so that you can configure everything here. You have recipe broker, third party broker, anything. So all those you can configure. I never use this.
What is this functionality? Sorry, manage message broker.
This is for your.
This is MQTT, okay.
This is the web server where you have all your servers installed. So whenever you are doing the configuration, system will create one server for the production connector as well. This is for your DMC cloud. So these are already, it's the standard ones. You want to create any server, you can create your own. But yeah, these are the standard ones. Then we have, so I'm going to cover these applications under the automation sequence. Then we have massive service providers. The system, what does do once you created the server, your web server, it will create a service provider as well for the reading and writing, fetching the data for the tags. So it will automatically create. You don't have to worry about it. It will automatically create the server as well, service provider as well. This one we already cover. This is for deploying all the your shop floor elements. If you're doing the production connect PPD, also you deploy it. This is the way you can manage your PPDs as administration. Like if you want to change the sequence log, if you want to see the backup, if you want to do, so from here you can download the backup as well for those PPDs. Okay. If you want to manage your workflow here, you can create the workflows group basically. So you can assign those group to particular PPDs and all. So that all you can do. Here you can set the log level for the PPDs and all. Okay. So this is a place where you can manage your PPDs, logs and all everything. Okay. Then we have this one. So I think we already discussed this as well, but let me go through once more. So this is your manage automatic trigger application. With the help of this, you can create subscription time-based events or based on the business events. You can trigger some PPDs and all. Okay. Subscription based is like it's mainly used for the tags. So if I create one subscription, I think it, yeah. So this is based on your once you have the shop floor connectivity, you have configured your tags and everything. So here, based on your tags or messages, so if you have any ambiguity configuration, based on the message, you can for the messages you can use. Okay, but for mostly tags, if you're using, here you have to select the which shop floor you are using it. So currently we don't have any. So when you select the shop floor, all the tags which are there under that, you can easily see. You can just select that tags based on the conditions of any particular tag. You can check. Okay. And yeah, then after that, you can run up what action you want to perform once this changes are happening on the any particular integrator or tag. So you want to run a production process, choose the production process which are available, or you want to run any service, which is any services which is available, or any messages pushing, publishing if you want to do. So that again you have to choose the topics and through which connector you want to publish that message to the ambiguity server broker. So all those information you have to select. This one I've never used, so I will not keep in details. But production on services are like whatever the production processes you available, you can just select that. What are the input and output you have to give you provided. So basically what is happening, any change happened to the tag selected, or like any change or on change, whatever happened. Okay. So in that case, system will trigger this process and do the job, whatever right logic is there in the process. Okay, this is your subscription bait you can do. Then we have a timer based. So basically, timer based is like a kind of a scheduler job based on certain time you have defined here, and then you can choose the action, basically any PPD or any services, and then so basically you're saying every 5 minutes or 10 minutes, run this job. That's it. So if you have any logic where you want have any scenario where you have to run a job every a day or every shift, you can use a timer and run the job logic. Then we have business logic. So this is based on the events and the services. Okay. So if I say events, so even these are the event types we have, where the material download, create, order, create, release. All these are the events. Based on these events, if suppose any SFC is created. In that case, you want to do any job or any logic you want to perform, basically. So as soon as SFC created, I can just add any PPD logic I want to execute. So you can do this. So as soon as SFC is created, start the SFC. So yeah, that is all we can do. So these are the predefined input you will get once the SFC is. So on this event, you will have these help or data you will be getting on this event. So you can use it. Next one is a business services. So business services, you have the events like when you're creating a batch, or you're completing an operation, or completing SFC. All these are there. So based on this also, you can just have any logic. Like suppose whenever SFC start is happening, you want to do a check whether the user who's working on this having any particular valid certificate or not. Then you can assign that, and you can have this data. That PPD you can run. So whatever. Here you can put the conditions as well. So it's happening for this plant, or you want to have it for this particular resource only, this logics to be run. So all those you can do. Also, trigger point is there when you have to execute this particular action, before the service execution or after the execution, or when any error happen at that time you want to execute this particular logic. So point you can define what type, what service you want to do, any conditions, what action need to be done. So all those things you can define here. Okay. Let's move to the next application for this one. So this one is an application, I think we discussed about this earlier as well, but yeah. So this is from where you can monitor your PPDs. So like for the messages, like which is going from system to out, like inbound outbound messages, which we have. For that, we have integration message dashboard. Similarly, for the PPDs, which we are running basically, for those also we have this application monitor production process. So here you will see if any process, any PPD is failed, and execution happens successfully, any error is there, all those information from here, this application, you can easily get it. So if we go back, let's see if we have any data from 18 till to 2 days. So these are the processes which are run during this duration. Some are failed, some have done, some are still running. Oh God. So it is failed, but this particular pod bus is still running. So that is there. You can just do one thing. You can terminate this as well. If your long running stuck messages are there, you can just terminate it. Okay. So yeah. Here you can see how much time your process has taken to be executed. All those information is there. Okay. This one is also stuck, so you can do that. So from here you can monitor your processes. Okay. Understand which was failing, and all those things you can do. Yeah. So yes, this is all about the. Okay, so if you want to recover your any process, then you can use this recover production process application as well to recover any failed messages. And through this, you can even change the parameters which are your passing rate. Well, let me see. Do you have any data? Okay, we don't have any process which is up to be covered. Okay, so but you can rerun the processes again with the changing the input as well. So that you can do it for the only PPD. The soil you're asking, right? You want to modify the input parameter, but that is only for PPD.
Remove this time step and execute. Remove the time step and execute. We have the failure one, right?
Yeah, but it's not coming. Plant is as well. Let me see.
Our comprehensive student metrics ensure top-notch learning experiences. We track engagement through attendance, participation, and video interactions. Performance is measured via quiz scores and assignment submissions. We monitor learning behaviors, including time spent and revisit patterns. Our metrics cover social learning, course completion rates, and even post-course success. With technical data on platform usage and device information, we optimize every aspect of your learning journey.
$26 Mrs. Paul. Okay, it's not coming. Why these are not coming? Even the fields which we can show. So this is a process. Might be instant. I didn't try this. Not coming. One second. Is any criteria about this particular? This is record production process application, right? Let me see if any prerequisite is there which is needed. But there's, you can see there's the options you can do, change input and then retry. Okay, so that you can do. Okay, these are, I think, only for those PPDs, a process or logic which runs asynchronously. Let's do one thing. This is for PPD that you have. This is for which plant? This is not inside this plant. Let me put wrong plant. Now informations. Try. It fails. If I go here, this. If I go and see the monitor, it has failed. I run as the asynchronous mode only. There's no time selection as well. Okay, this process uses a time zone that you have selected as a plant standard for all the processes. If plant is not selected, the time of your zone will be point taking equal to days. No. Okay, we need to see this one, but ideally what happen if anything, any termination happen, any error happens, right? So you will be able to see all the processes here under this application, and with the help of this two options, whether you can change the input, you can easily change the input and retry again, or you can directly retry as well. These are your, if you want to copy that information, you can do. But ideally, I'm not sure. I need to check about this one, why it is not coming. But most scenario, the data should come here. So here you can see this is failed, but it's not coming. Yeah. So this is all we have under the automation tab. These are all the applications we have. And Yeah, I think we have covered the things. So we discussed about this pre-configuration, like what the production connector and the cloud connector you have to do. And in DMC, you have to do these activity. You have to create the production cloud connector. You have to create the production connector. You have to create the shop floor system. And then you have to just once it is done, then you can create once you did, that is like once you activated, that means you have created it and check the communication happens. So once you will get a message like it's connected. So here, if I go, where is it? So inside this application, if the connections happen successfully, okay, so here you can see the status connectivity. So it's green color will come for the system that indicate, okay, all these systems are now connected properly and we can use it for our purpose. Like communications happen successfully. And once that is done, you create your assets and then connect those assets to your shop floor assets. Okay, so this is all we do. So every step we have talk about that. So yeah, these are the application we talk about. So for creating production process, if you're using, right, so you have already created these things. It will be, so you will design this one, you will design the PPD and deploy and activate to monitor. You can use those two applications, and then you can call the PPD from the pod designer, or you can directly test it. Okay. Then for subscription, we talk, right? We can create the subscription based tags. Okay. And then deploy and activate it. So yeah, this is all we have for the integration. One more plus thing I like to tell, maybe for which you're waiting a little bit. So we talk about most of the cases, like how you want to configure your QM or PM module as of now, since there's no standard solution available. So it's not that difficult, but it's not also that straightforward. So like suppose what you want to do is like I want to do a PM notification. Basically, whenever in system is down, I'm going to create a PM order against it, and someone should work on it. And once they close that order, it should reflect back to DMC as well and make the system up and running. So it can involve end-to-end as well. You have a shop floor connection, you have an equipment, you tag value you are no. So as soon as the tag value got changed, okay, in the DMC you receive that information from your shop floor connectivity. Okay, as the tag value change, you write a subscription in your manage automation here, automatic trigger. So whenever the tag values change, you run a PPD. Okay, that PPD will internally call a iFlow, which you have already registered in DMC as a service. Okay, that iFlow will have a call to a BAPI, and the BAPI is the one who is creating a new PM order. Okay, so this is the way you can have it. So first you have to create a PPD. So basically it should start from here. You have a BAPI, which will use for the creation of PM orders. Then you use that BAPI. You are in the CPI, you made the changes as per the system should understand that configuration. You created a custom iFlow. That custom iFlow using the DMC. Okay. And based on your requirement, either you can do automatic trigger if it's have a shop floor connectivity, or you can trigger from the pods based on the user interaction. Okay. And similar way is the reverse is also same. So when this one is happening from DMC to S4 side. Okay. The flow is DMC, CPI, and then S4. Second option can happen is like, or might not be possible also. It can be from the DMC level. I'm talking about second option is can be like once they have created everything properly, they fix the issue, they want to modify the system. Okay, so they can do, there's two options. You can do from DMC again or can from the S4. Let's say they are doing from S4 side. So basically what is happening, as soon as they did confirmation from S4 side, again they will have event, or basically a process. Basically in that case it will call the iFlows, this one iFlow, okay, and which will change the status in DMC, equipment status in DMC, and then it will notify the PUBP or which is calling that info. So yeah, this is the basic idea. You have to have a PUBP or anything your service register using a CPI as and expose it as a service to the DMC and use it on your PPD. You can have user interaction you can use as a pod in the pod, or you can use that service as inside your to trigger something or change some value in your shop floor thing. So this is the idea, basic idea. This is where you can do implementation or custom implementation for anything. It's not just restricted to the PM thing. It's just this is the general flow you should always use if you are doing your own custom developments with it. Okay.
Kajal, you mentioned there are three things, right? So subscriptions, event, and so.
This is a tag-based. This is your
subscription, timer, and business rules. So what is the difference? Subscriptions or business rule means subscriptions.
Subscription is based on your tag information shop floor connectivity. Okay. So any tag value change or anything which is related to your shop floor. Subscription is your related to execution part. So you're doing any like as soon as ISFC completed, you want to do something, as soon as material download into the system, or you made any modification to your order, you want to notify any other system or anything. In that scenario, you can use business rules. So you're automating some process basically with the help of these options. Not this. These three options are for your automation purposes. Instead of doing manually, like okay, it might be possible like every time whenever any SFC is getting started, you want to notify your supervisor, okay, this order has been started now. So instead of manually or dropping a mail or messaging him on those Teams and anything, you can automate it. Okay, so this is the basic scenarios where you can use this particular feature. Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, so nowadays all are talking about AI, generative AI or anything. So did you see any use case or something that you would like to share that you implemented?
I don't have any expertise.
No, not expertise.
No, I don't have any expertise on that area as of now. I didn't. As of now, we didn't go much into that part as of now, so I can't say it's. But there's so many things in the internet. You can just take an example or you can understand how you can use DMC as well. A lot of things are there on the internet and the available as well. But
yes,
if I'm talking about myself,
yeah, like if you want to share any use case that you or business case that you really done work on that area, AI or generative AI part.
As of now, I didn't actually no experience on that. If I go to previous schedule, not for this plant. So it was simple. It was saying like in our configuration, okay, what we have said minimum is 0 and all. And for those work centers, okay, we didn't have any schedule planned actually. So that's why reason it was coming that minimum error, which is my plant. Yeah. So you're saying minimum was 0, minimum is 1 actually for this plant, and I have not assigned anything on this day for these work centers on these shifts. So that's why these errors are coming. If you assign anything for this assembly, okay, let me see if I can do a back assignment. Sorry, for 29th, I will do for the assembly, okay, on the shift A only. So we'll assign shift A and work center, I will do assembly. Okay. Okay, if I go and see, let me save it. Okay, let me save it first. Okay, assignment doesn't happen actually here. Yeah, let me assign it. Yeah, save it. So see, for assembly, things are good now. It is it passed the condition, like at least minimum one resource was needed to assign on this particular work center. That is, if I'm assigning something, like if I have a condition of max 10 and assigning some sources more than 10, I will get an error for the maximum. Okay, so this is your current value, and what you are assigned, that is, this is what.
Yeah, okay, sure. For the PPD, so let's suppose the PPD is deployed. So in that case, if you want to edit something, so are we able to do, or we need to like change into new version?
So every change, once you deploy, whatever changes you are doing, it will be a new version. So like if I want to add it, it will automatically change version from 1.02 to 1.1. So it will always save as a new version. Why? See, I have deployed, might be possible I'm using this PPD in any other logic. Okay. System is running. I'm keep making on changing on running. So system will run on what is deployed, not on the one which you are working on. Okay. So once you deploy it, then system will run on the latest deployed version. So it will keep on changing as you keep on editing. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we do some customizing in the pod designer, okay, custom already the standard plugins are available, right, in pod designer. So if we go for any customizing plugins, so in that case, how the system will react and what is the challenges we face in the background? Because customizing plugins is nothing but it's by a coding, right?
Yeah, UFI codes, UFI
UFI
application. Yeah.
So how does it
So
work actually? Because yeah.
Once you have the UFI code you deployed, okay, you will see, so see, these are the standard. If it is a custom one, so you can see a one slight blue line here. It will indicating this is a custom one, and just you have to just drag and drop, nothing else. Drag it, use it where you want to use it. That's it.
That is right. But before doing any plugins, actually, we have to do the coding, right? It is in
Yes.
UFI, you're saying. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Like POD we created, or any customizations, or anything, right? So is there only way to move to the next system? It's import export only, or there is any way, other way, or how exactly?
So for pod, they have pods basically. Sorry. So for pod, they have already APIs is there. They just use this API to import and export. As of now, there's no other way. Transportation, like we have in our S4 side, right? We do transportation. Cloud also, they have one system, but that will cost another thing. Like it's not a part of DMC. Okay, it will another product, I think. But as of now, we are doing like importing, exporting, like manually. There's no any.
So if you're developing any customized plugin or PPDs or applications, API, those also to be like import export only, or?
Yes. So like PPDs, whatever you're doing, right? You can directly deploy into that environment only. So you don't have to put codes. You don't do, right? You build the build pack of your product, your application, and deploy that, right? So deployment you can directly do into that space, and yep.
No, generally we do in the development, test it, and then further we'll move to quality.
That is a step. Either you can have one more system instead of having two tiers, test and production. You can have a sandbox. So you will have three tiers: sandbox, test, and then production. Do everything in your sandbox, then move the changes or manually if import, export, and everything in your test environment, test there, and then you move it to the production. So it's based on the requirement which. So I think for the DMC they suggest two tiers only, but you can have sandbox as well.
Okay, DMC, they suggest two-tier development and productions.
Test and production, but you can have
Test and
as well.
productions, okay.
Yeah.
And one more scenarios, like when from SAP side, when you have the system refresh, okay. For example, your DMC test environment connected with the S4 test environment. Okay. Now that S4 test environment get refreshed with the production.
Okay.
Right. So then in that case, your DMC and S4, the data or all these things are not in sync, right?
Yes.
Then is there any steps or prerequisites or before a refresh or after a refresh something we need to do in a DMC to make sure both the system in sync or this kind of scenarios?
The data sync is like whatever the master data is there, right? That you have to trigger. You have to trigger it from the S4 side, okay? Baki, if you say like orders are there, which now if you're trying to do confirmation from the DMC, it will fail because there's no such order in your S4 side, right? So that you have to create new and send. Okay, so synchronization automatically will not happen. You have to trigger it from the S4 side. But connectivity will be there. There will be no change you are doing at your connection level, right? Connectivity will be there. Data sync, you have to do it manually.
But what happens then existing data that is in DMC but not in S4?
It will reside in DMC. You can either delete. I don't know. Most of the master data you cannot delete because they are already being used, right? So it will reside in DMC.
Yeah, it is used, but system is refreshed, so it's a test. Like there is no such data in S4. There are no such data available. Okay, because it get refreshed. So there is no such master or transactional data. It's all copy from the production.
Right. Yeah, but I don't understand what you're expecting from DMC here.
To sync the system as like a test system. When we get refresh from production.
No, that don't happen.
So in DMC, what actions we need? We need like. Is there any prerequisites or after the refresh? Is there some action that we need to perform?
Yeah, you have to send the master data, right? You want to use the system, you need to have the data. You have to send it. Again, you have to send it from the S4 side. Send it all the data which you need to perform in DMC, like all your master data and whatever the transition data you want. All you have to send it again.
Okay, and the other data that was previously sent that is now not in S4, that will remain in DMC only. That cannot be deleted or.
Few, if that is not being used anywhere, anything that you can delete, but anything, any object being related or connected to any other object, that cannot be deleted in DMC. Because link, you already have been used it, right? The link is already established. It may have some consequences, like you're deleting it. It may have some consequences. It may not help to like it possible like the system will fail to execute that process and all. So you cannot delete much things.
The same way DMC also has some kind of a refresh functionality, system refresh or kind of thing, or no?
DMC is an execution system. It's not a source system. Whatever you're feeding it, it will execute the data based on it.
Right. But DMC also we have multiple instances, right? Like development, test, and production. Correct. Yeah. So the way we have those kind of a refresh, I don't know that there is a use case.
You're fetching data from DMC to you're saying prod system to the test system, right? Something like that. I heard some similar feature, but I'm not sure also it was for the DM. I'm not sure about, but I heard somewhere, like see somewhere, but I'm not right now recollecting whether it's for DMC or for some other system. Might it was for HANA Cloud.
No issue.
But that we need to see. I'm not sure about it. Maybe possible that is being supported now. You can just back up your data from production environment to the test environments for the testing purpose, actually, right? You need or want to replicate the scenarios, right? So what happens? So suppose anything happens wrong in the production environment, you want to replicate the same data into the test environment. So something I heard somewhere, see somewhere, but I'm not recollecting properly whether it is for the DMC system or not. Okay.
No issue. And other thing, like, is there any kind of archival functionality, or the data will always remain in that server only for the longer duration of time? Or after some time, is there any archival, like, after 5 years or 10 years, we can archive those orders, or so it will not consume that unnecessary server space?
That I think you need to check with the administrator person, actually, how the system is configured and how the purging of the data is happening, what method they have subscribed and used for it. I'm not sure about that thing, actually. So, but inside the DMC, there's a few places where you have some retention period where you can see the data for the next 2 weeks as a default one. And you can download some back data as well. But apart from that,
so after a retention period where those data gets saved somewhere, or it's totally deleted?
Few data will get deleted. Like if you start, if you tell about you, like for the messages, inbound and outbound messages are coming. If any of them is in inactive state or failed as a deleted state, okay. So if I delete any message or I put something in inactive, so those messages will get deleted for permanently. Okay. Other messages will be, but I'm not sure about the actual data retention at the database level. Because these are the messages only, logs message only, right? So that you need to check with the SAP or maybe the team who's doing this, purchasing this, right? They might have the clarity on this question actually much more than me, because I never know about this thing actually.
Okay.
If every quarter there is a upgrade, right, actually in DMC, so in that case any functionality get changed or something, if it is happened, so we have to recheck the existing functionality whether it is impacted or not. So is it? Yeah, that is what. So for that, actually, how to? I mean, any prerequisites of function? I mean, we have to follow the steps, or any existing standard steps are there to follow.
So see, every release, you will get what's new is coming before they put into before 1 week or 2 week, you will get the idea. They will release a note what's coming in this release. Okay. And then after that, it will first deploy that changes into your test environment. Okay. That there you will have a window of 2 weeks before they move to the production. So that is your window where you have to identify anything which is breaking with this release. You have to notify to the SAP. They will do the fix, or any changes needed in the process, they will suggest. And you have to do everything in the 2 weeks window. Okay. Once it is in production, if something goes wrong again, you can raise a ticket and things will be resolved over the tickets. But for the most thing is like you always have to go through that new release things, understand how it's going to impact you, and test it carefully.
So we just wanted to check only that particular upgrade. For example, if any feature is added into schedule labor, so we have to check for the particular app only, right? Schedule labor itself, we have to test it, right? So rest of others actually it's not needed. So that is what my understanding, right?
I think we might be little. I like to add it. So suppose might be possible they have dedicated say, okay, schedule labor, this new feature is coming. Okay, you want to change something, but it is always good to go through all the changes, understand is anything which can impact you. It's not just one you see, okay, I have implemented this and I will look into this change only and fix it if needed. It is good if you can go all the list, understand, see how it is impacting you. It helps us, like instead of once it went to production, you realize, okay, oh, this is a feature, it was impacted. Because sometimes happens like they remove some feature, deprecate it, or put more extra parameters or something which you might using, but you forget it. So it's better always go to the new, and during the test in 2 week window, check your all the implementation or whatever you have. Do a test for whatever you have implemented, all the logics. One round of testing at least end to end. That is the best.
Okay. And if any note is introduced by the SAP saying that if any like schedule labor we are going to introduce so and so functionality. So for that note, actually, maybe there will be some duration, right, to implement that route as per the SAP.
Generally, like for any upgrade, you from SAP side, you will get this impact analysis. Okay, what are the new features you're not going to implement? What are the features that will be discontinued? So that entire report will get before an upgrade in general.
Yeah.